We continue. Example number 6 on inequalities. Here again, I'm doing them all pretty much in the same manner. It just depends on the structure of the particular question, but the process is being done the same way every time. I advocate bringing this over and changing it into an equation first of all, because then that takes us back to things we've done before. Flashback. Doodle-a-doo, doodle-a-doo. This is assignment 11 for us, quadratic equations. Since two different terms contain x, I would suggest that we get everything on one side and make it equal 0. You might recall that the nerds call that standard form. Make it equal 0. And then if you can factor it, you do. If you cannot, you do the quadratic formula. But you notice here, hopefully, that you could factor out an x from both terms. And therefore, we can apply the zero product principle. So this is a very, very, very quick overview of equations that we've seen before. So that's what we have to do when we get to something where we use an old idea. We have to say, remember this? And we hope you do. So continuing to solve that equation, we end up with the fact that 0 and 8 will make these two things equal. 0 and 8 will make them equal to each other. So we move on. Let's talk about undefined. There's no division by zero potential because there's no fractions. Don't worry about it. All right. So anyway, on our test line here, let's place the numbers 0 and 8. All right. And now, what relationship did those numbers generate equal? And we look at the question, and we notice there's not an equal there. And so hopefully it would say, if you're a number that makes the two things equal, you don't work. There's no equal to in this particular question. So again, I think it makes sense that visually you put an open circle there to show that, right, it doesn't work. It's not solid. It didn't, no. Equal is not in the question. I don't know how else to say that. Somebody else is out there screaming, say this! I can't think of something else to say. All right, now, test anything you want. -1 would probably be a wise choice. I'm going to pick -10, whatever. 8 times -10 is -80, and -10 squared is positive 100. Negative times a negative is positive. You look at that, I did some mental arithmetic. I'm okay with you doing that as well if you want. And you look at it and go, well, -80 is less than 100. Look at that. And less than, ding, ding, ding. Yes, that test number gave us the relationship that the question wanted, and therefore that interval satisfies. Therefore, every number out here is going to be a solution to that inequality. All those numbers make this side less than that side, and therefore they work in the question. What's a number between 0 and 8? I pick 1. 8 times 1 is 8. 1 squared is 1. How does 8 relate to 1? Well, 8 is greater than 1. And greater than is not in the question. Boo! Boo! Right? Didn't work. Don't fill it in. It's not good. Those numbers don't satisfy the question. 10, that lives up here above 8. Let's put that in for x. 8 times 10 is 80. And on the other side, 10 squared is 100. Let's see. 80 is less than 100. Yeah. And you look up here and go, less than, ding, 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 yay! Right? So, any number up here above 8, such as 10, is going to work. Less than, less than. Look at the problem. Look at the relationship you got. Look at the relationship in the question. If they match, yay, it worked! If they don't match, boo, it didn't work. All right? So anyway, we have two intervals. We saw an example of this earlier. So again, always read it like a book, left to right. You would hopefully say that that interval would be described as -infinity to 0. Notice parenthesis, equal, not there, exclude, rounded, or, remember that? Okay, and then from left to right, let's see, exclude the 8, so rounded parenthesis, comma, infinity. I'll remind you that infinity always has a rounded parenthesis next to it because theoretically you cannot equal infinity. And equal to is a bracket. Anyway, there's the answer to that one. Hopefully that was pretty straightforward, and I think we're ready to move on and enjoy some more.